Welcome to the deep dive. I'm really excited about today's mission because we're uncovering what feels like a massive, honestly, kind of a hidden shift happening right now in how you grow a business.
Yeah, it's a huge shift. We were basically looking at the end of an era.
Right. And to help you navigate this, we are unpacking a really great curated stack of insights today. It's anchored by the mid-April 2026 edition of the Bright Brief.
Which is an excellent newsletter by David Tell at BrightLead Digital.
Yeah, exactly. And the core narrative here is that the old days of, tight manual control over your marketing, that's gone.
Completely gone. I mean, we're stepping into this era of what you could call distributed growth. It's where your community's feedback, third-party trust, and especially these new AI systems, they're the ones actually doing the heavy lifting now.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Mm-hmm.
Because the best way to understand this is a story from the brief about a brand that made, of all things, pistachio mayonnaise.
Pistakio.
Yeah.
It's such a wild case study.
It really is. So they launched this highly specific product, right? Pistachio mayo. But instead of just forcing it on people, they actually read their Instagram DMs and their emails.
Which, most brands don't even bother doing at that stage.
Right. And the audience is basically saying, we love you, but we have no idea what to do with this. Like, do I put it on a turkey sandwich? Do I dip a fry in it?
Right. The market was just totally confused.
Yeah. So instead of locking themselves in a conference room and spending a fortune on an ad campaign to educate the market, they completely pivoted.
They did. They reformulated it into a sweeter, much simpler spread. And a recent Shopify report showed that this specific pivot, literally just listening to the confusion, led to 10x growth.
10x.
Yeah. But, and this the crazy part, is how they got that growth that matters. They didn't just dump money into, some massive media buy.
No, they got incredibly scrappy. They created new items like a crunchy spread and a date bark, entirely based on what the community was asking for.
Right. And then they went local. They literally built a list of 200 independent coffee shops.
200.
Yeah, 200. Reached out one by one, sent them samples, and basically said, hey, invent your own custom drinks using our spread.
Oh, wow. So they just let the cafes do the R&D.
Exactly. And on top of that, they asked their online followers to tag local shops they wanted to see carry the product.
It's like, okay, think about it like this. Instead of cooking a meal behind closed doors and just, hoping the diners like it, they essentially threw a potluck.
I love that.
Right. They just threw a potluck and asked the audience to help bring the ingredients.
Yeah, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the fastest growing small brands right now are totally blurring those traditional lines.
How so?
Well, historically, product development is siloed over here, audience building is over there, and wholesale partnerships are completely separate.
Right.
But by combining them, you give customers a super low-risk way to try the product in the real world. Like you buy your morning latte, and oh, look, it features this new spread.
It's just brilliant. But, relying on the community isn't just a feel-good strategy for, snack brands anymore.
No, not at all.
It's actually becoming the literal mathematical foundation for how new search engines function.
Yes, this is where things get really technical, but so important.
Yeah, the Bright Brief brought up this recent Axios report about AI search and GEO, generative engine optimization.
Right, GEO, which is completely upending how we think about web discovery.
Because AI tools are now significantly more likely to surface your business if trusted outside sources are talking about you, not just your own website.
Exactly. The AI wants corroboration. It's programmed to not just take your word for it when you say, hey, I'm the best.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting. The newsletter actually quotes Stacker on this. They found that more third-party mentions directly and measurably increase your AI visibility.
Yes. Measurably.
But, okay, let me push back on this for a second.
Sure.
For a small business owner listening to this, if they're used to their discovery engines starting and ending with their perfectly optimized website, how do they actually adapt? How does a machine even know who they are if it's not reading their About Us page?
It's a great question. And it comes down to a framework search engine journal calls the Entity Authority Sprint. It's a sponsored framework in the brief, but it's a really practical operating plan.
Okay, walk us through it.
It's 5 steps. Step 1, you pick 3 to 5 core topics you want to be known for.
Just 3 to 5.
Keep it focused, yeah. Step 2, audit the gaps in your current pages around those topics. Step 3, create one incredibly strong asset for each of those gaps.
Wait. Steps 2 and 3 just sound like regular old SEO to me. Like updating a blog post.
They do, but here's the difference. Large language models are prediction engines, right? They hate information voids. So if a user asks a highly specific question and there's a void of clear information, the AI struggles. But if you create an asset that perfectly fills that void, the AI is mathematically forced to use your entity to enter the prompt.
You become the path of least resistance.
Exactly, which sets up step 4 winning outside mentions. You go to partners, local press directories, and get them to point back to those assets.
And step 5.
Step 5 is tracking it. You look for early signs, like your brand name showing up in AI-generated answers.
And the tech behind this is wild. The source mentioned Google Cloud Natural Language Tools.
Right, because these systems don't just read text like a human. They identify entities.
Right.
A person, a concept, a business.
So it's turning human language into, like, a mathematical graph.
Yes, it plots points. If node A is Pistakio and node B is quality coffee, the AI is constantly measuring the distance between those nodes across the entire internet.
What's fascinating here is that this actually levels the playing field, doesn't it?
Completely. Massive brands have massive reach, sure. But a small firm can punch way above its weight if they build deep, dense trust in a really specific niche.
So reputation is basically replacing rented reach.
Exactly. Earned trust is the new algorithm.
Well, and speaking of algorithms, if organic discovery is being outsourced to AI and third-party trust, paid discovery is moving in the exact same direction.
Oh yeah, the days of the tiny tweak are completely dead.
Right. The Bright Brief pulls from a Marketing Brew report about Meta's ad systems. They are aggressively pushing advertisers toward broad automation.
Tools like Andromeda and Advantage Plus.
Yeah. It's like, okay, the old way of running ads was like trying to manually tune a radio dial through heavy static, right? Just nudging the demographic settings, hoping to find a clear signal.
Constantly adjusting the age range from 25 to 34, then 25 to 40.
Exactly. But the new way is like handing a professional DJ a playlist and just letting them read the room.
That is a perfect analogy, because the system knows who wants to buy. You just have to give it good creative.
And Canva is actually evolving to match this exact reality.
Right, the TechCrunch piece on their recent acquisitions.
Yeah, they bought companies called SimTheory and Ordo, which, most of us just think of Canva as that place to make a quick graphic.
Right, but these acquisitions are turning it into a full marketing system. They're adding AI collaboration, customer data, and this is the big one-agent workflows.
Agent workflows, which sounds incredibly corporate. What does that actually mean for the person listening?
Basically, it's an AI program that executes multi-step tasks without you touching it.
Like what?
So someone clicks your ad. An agent workflow doesn't just send you a notification. It evaluates the ad they clicked, drafts a custom welcome email based on that specific context,
Yeah?
pulls a discount code from your inventory, and just queues the whole thing up for you to approve.
Oh, wow. So instead of designing in Canva, downloading it, uploading it to Meta, pulling leads into a spreadsheet, moving them to an email tool,
The agent handles the connective tissue natively.
the operational drag just disappears.
Exactly. Fewer disconnected tools means smaller teams can execute so much faster. You aren't fighting your software stack anymore.
You're just feeding brilliant raw materials to the machine.
Right.
And this is but handing over that much control requires a lot of patience.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when the machines themselves are constantly shifting. Which brings us to a really specific piece of news from search engine land about Google's March 2026 core update.
Ah, yes.
The report noted that this update finally finished rolling out on April 8th. It took exactly 12 days and 4 hours.
They track it down to the hour.
Right. So what does this all mean? Why does that highly specific timeline actually matter to someone trying to run their business today?
It comes down to a concept we call data hygiene.
Okay.
When an update like that is rolling out, the internet is essentially unstable. Your traffic might spike on day 3 and then totally crash on day 7.
And human nature is to panic.
Exactly. You see traffic drop, and you want to jump into the command center. You want to pull levers, rewrite your pages, change your keywords immediately.
Because it feels like you're losing control.
Right. But if you react in the middle of an update, you're reacting to dirty data. The digital ground is literally shifting underneath you.
So you have to wait for the exact finish line.
Yes. That April 8th date matters because it's the signal that the data is clean again. Only then can you actually do a rational review and see what permanently gained or fell.
It takes so much restraint. but it leads perfectly into the grand synthesis of all these sources.
The BrightLead team perspective.
Right. David Tal and the team pulled all these threads together, the pistachio mayo, the AI search nodes, the automated ad platforms, and the pattern is just undeniable.
It really is. They boiled it down to 3 focus areas for businesses right now.
Let's hit them. Number 1,
Number 1, build what customers are already asking for.
the pistachio lesson.
Exactly. Don't force a product if people are confused. Listen to the feedback loops. Let the community build the features.
Love it. Number 2,
Create proof outside your own website. This is the AI GEO lesson. You need reviews, local partnerships, mentions, and directories.
you have to fill those information voids so that AI literally has no choice but to cite you.
Exactly. And number 3, simplify the marketing stack. Embrace the broad automation from Meta. Lean into tools like Canva's agent workflows.
Stop making those tiny little manual tweaks.
Right. Let the automated tools do the heavy lifting so you can focus on the creative.
Build what they want, prove it somewhere else, and let the machines distribute it.
Which raises an important question for you listening today. How can you make yourself easier to trust, easier to understand, and easier to find?
It totally reframes what your daily objective should actually be. And it actually leaves me with one final kind of provocative thought to mull over.
Oh,
Yeah, just building on everything we discussed today, if AI search engines only really care about what other people say about your business,
right.
and your ad distribution and product R&D are entirely driven by community platforms and automated workflows,
Where are you going with this?
will the traditional company website eventually become completely obsolete? Think about it. Like, what if it just becomes a digital business card that human beings never actually visit?
Just existing for the bots.
Exactly. Existing solely for AI bots to scrape your schema data, while all the actual human discovery and purchasing happens out there in the distributed network.
That is a fascinating logical extreme.
Yeah.
The command center isn't just empty. The whole building is demolished.
Right. The control room is gone. You just have to participate in the ecosystem now. So thank you for joining us on this deep dive. I highly encourage you to look at your own business's feedback loops today. Check your third-party mentions. Step out of the command center and see what the ecosystem is actually saying about you. We will catch you next time.